I Hate the News is the weekly news roundup from I Hate Politics podcast, a show about a human activity we love to hate. I'm Sunil Dasgupta. In the news for February 27th, 2024, WAMU, the NPR station in the Washington, D.C. region, shuts down its news website and lays off 15 staffers. MCPS changes how it calculates eligibility for Title I schools, but it keeps the online Montgomery Virtual Academy and 2 schools with extended calendars for another year. A new state bill pushes adoption of reading pedagogy that emphasizes phonetic learning, and a state bill that prioritizes how gas companies invest in infrastructure and curb overinvestment, which costs ratepayers. Music for this episode comes from DC songwriter and composer Oren Levine. The songs on this episode are recorded with the band Lucky So and So and written with Paula Bailey and Artemis. Stay with us. The big news going into last weekend was the decision by WAMU 88.5, the NPR station in the Washington, D.C. region, to shut down its local news website called DCist and lay off 15 staffers. WAMU's decision comes at the heels of the Washington Post laying off many employees disproportionately from Metro Reporting, and the sale of Montgomery County's Moco 360 Media to a Delaware lifestyle magazine publishing house. WAMU said it was pivoting to its core radio business. News websites are hard to run. They are expensive. Good reporters cost money, and it is made worse by the fact that reporting is an episodic activity. A beat reporter follows her issues and develops expertise and connections every day in order to catch the big story when it breaks, or to be able to put 2 and 2 together to break the news herself. Websites, to be attractive, must be constantly updated, include videos, audio, and extras that give readers the reason to stay and come back. Meanwhile, website ad sales are consolidated in the hands of behemoths such as Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. The Big 5 digital ad companies are also the Big 5 tech companies. All of this means that local news websites are difficult to sustain. We've been following the decline in local news coverage closely, and one of the lessons we have learned was how Moco 360, formerly Bethesda Beat, which started in 2014, has been and remains a loss maker. So much so that former owner Scott Copeland sold the company itself after 2 years of ownership. He did not see a viable path to break even. The trick to ad sales in this context is cross-promotion across platforms and scale. But WAMU, as a public radio station, is more focused on membership and sponsorships, which come mostly from listeners rather than readers of DCist, whose eyeballs are probably contributing more to the Big 5. And local affiliates such as WAMU are left competing with NPR itself for members and sponsors. There are several tragedies here. DCist, a strong local news outlet, is gone, and so is its 10-year archive of stories, at least for now. In the end, we can say this: we don't want to pay for local news, and ad dollars are sucked up by the behemoths who offer big reach. School news. Montgomery County Public Schools has changed its criteria for how it determines Title I eligibility for schools.
Hi, Sunil. This is Annie Tolkien from the Long Branch neighborhood of Silver Spring. I'm sharing some personal insights today about a recent change to the MCPS criteria for designating Title I schools. My daughter is a second grader at New Hampshire Estates Elementary School, a Title I K-2 school in the Long Branch, Quebec Terrace neighborhood of Silver Spring. NHE has the highest poverty rate of any MCPS elementary school, where approximately 91% of the families are low income. NHE also has some of the best student outcomes for a Title I school in the county. NHE feeds directly into Oakview Elementary School, which is 3rd through 5th grade. Oakview hosts the Center for Enriched Studies, pulling students from 6 different elementary schools. Last week, our joint NHE and Oakview PTA learned that Oakview is losing its Title I status. This means that the school is losing approximately $380,000, which equates to the loss of several teachers, paraeducators, summer school programs, and more. You might be asking yourself, what changed in MCPS's formula that would have such a devastating impact on students who are coming from the highest poverty school in the county? Well, MCPS made the uninformed decision to use SNAP and EBT benefits to qualify for Title I. Previously, they had been using free and reduced meals, FARMS data, which relied on families completing a form annually. This change is a major mistake by MCPS because undocumented immigrants who make up a substantial portion of our school communities at NHE and Oakview may not be eligible for SNAP benefits, or even if they are eligible, they may not know it, and there are significant barriers to applying, including linguistic barriers and work requirements. MCPS administrators chose a metric that systematically ignores a huge section of our school population. Title I was designed to support students in schools exactly like Oakview, and it's critical that MCPS adopt the most accurate and inclusive metric to determine poverty within each school community. MCPS cannot profess to be, quote, welcoming regardless of immigration status and welcoming immigrants with open arms, unquote, while choosing a Title I metric that categorically excludes those very same students from even being counted.
Title I is a designation given to schools that have a concentration of students from poor families. Local school districts have some leeway in determining the eligibility criterion. MCPS only designates, for example, elementary schools as Title I. In the past, MCPS has used free and reduced meals known as the FARMS rate. Now it is going to use SNAP, the federal food stamp program. 4 MCPS elementary schools are affected: Brookhaven, Weers Mill, Strathmore in Mid-County, Aspen Hill, Weers Mill area, and Oakview in Silver Spring. Last week, the Board of Education reconsidered closing down 2 programs: the extended calendar year at Arcola and Roscoe Nix Elementary Schools, called the Innovative School Year. Arcola parent Rishika Mehta found this in her advocacy victory.
The Board of Education voted to preserve the Innovative School program at Arcola in their fiscal year 2025 budget after our community rallied and showed up in big numbers at the hearing to advocate for keeping the program. This process has shown us the importance of engaging and that advocacy does work. We are grateful to the board members for hearing our testimonies and doing what is best for our community. The budget still needs to be approved by the County Council and the County Executive. We are hopeful that the Board of Education and the County Council will continue to engage our community and keep up the conversation so that we can discuss the merits of the program without fears of abrupt program termination, which can have drastic effects on the livelihood of the teachers and parents and can put the safety of our children at risk.
The local school board also decided to keep the Montgomery Virtual Academy an online school within MCPS. One correction: last week we said that the Virtual Academy had close to 2,000 students. This was an error. The actual number is less than 900. We do make mistakes and always appreciate corrections you may have. You can email producer@ihppod.org to talk back to us. With 60% of 4th graders in Maryland not reading at grade level, the state has long debated best teaching practices. In January 2024, the Maryland State Department of Education adopted a resolution to push what is called Science of Reading, which emphasizes phonetic learning over reading via context and cues. And now the State Assembly seems to be weighing in.
Hi, I'm Katie Spurlock from Bethesda, an advocate for struggling readers and the founder of Open Source Phonics. There is a bill right now in the General Assembly that would require MSDE to administer a matching grant program for nonprofits like mine that provide free, open license tutoring materials that parents and community members can use to practice phonics. As any parent or tutor of a struggling reader knows, you need phonics materials to practice phonics. Programs that offer step-by-step lessons, word lists, sentences, and decodable passages for practice can easily cost over $200. Now that our state is embracing the science of reading and acknowledging how necessary phonics practice can be, especially for struggling readers, we must ensure that all families have access to the tools they need. It is a matter of equity and key to improving reading in our state. This program will benefit schools, teachers, and parents by providing high-quality, free resources that MSDE has vetted.
Some utility news. Senator Charles Sidnor from Baltimore explains his bill to prioritize how gas companies repair their pipes.
Current law fails to require utilities to prioritize pipe replacements based on the severity of those safety risks. So what it's doing is driving large investments in gas infrastructure, resulting in excessive rate increases for customers. So what the proposed amendment to the STRIDE law would allow is for utilities to continue to receive those accelerated cost recoveries for qualifying gas infrastructure investments, but limit accelerated recovery to replacement projects that address aging pipes most at risk for failure. And it would reduce customer rates by requiring gas utilities to use less costly alternatives than replacements, and also lower the risk of locking in fossil fuel infrastructure investments that are likely to become uneconomic and stranded, and align long-term gas infrastructure management with the state climate policy.
On the electricity side, Pepco's Janique Williams explains changes to how the company will pay customers who produce rooftop solar power. The process is called net metering.
So where a customer has rooftop solar on their rooftop, or they subscribe to a community solar, whatever is generated from that rooftop solar is sent to the grid, and that energy that is generated from their rooftop solar is used to offset their electricity bill. The Net Metering Flexibility Act gives customers the option to make an election, right? So the default option was at the end of April, Pepco would look at, based on your bill, do you have credits that you haven't used that you've generated from your rooftop? And they would send you a check. Now customers have the option to elect whether they want that annual payout in April, or they want to roll over their credits indefinitely after April. You know, it's a summer months. You're using your AC, you're using more energy. Therefore, there'll be a spike in your bill, and you can use that extra credit that you have to offset your electricity bill.
We end with the announcement of Montgomery Blair High School math teacher and longtime union activist David Stein being elected to be the new president of Montgomery County Education Association, the teachers union known for its Apple ballot, which is one of the most important political endorsements in the county. That's all for this episode. You're listening to I Hate the News from I Hate Politics. Be sure to tune in here at I Hate Politics this Friday for our big feature interview of the week. I Hate Politics is produced by me, Sunil Dasgupta, with assistant producers Daniel Galileo and Katarina Gasek, with support from the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. I direct UMBC's political science program at the universities at Shady Grove in Montgomery County, where, among other things, we explore and learn about politics, government, and society close to home. Music for this episode comes from DC songwriter and composer Oren Levine and the band Lucky So and So. If you want to share your music on the show or know someone else who might want to, please email us at producer@ihbpod.org. See you next time.
We should slow down and try to relax the vibe. Take precaution of those in the long run. It's all about safety. That's where it's drawn from. Don't know you to touch you or clutch you. Better not rush you. I'm saying just hush too. Wait.